Klang. Klang. This is a good intro, Michael. This is a I mean, I guess you'll see what this is. This is the demo for Klang, so this will be significantly shorter than an hour. First hour, which is what I would normally do. Klang is a rhythm-based action platforming game, I guess is the way I'd describe it. You'll kind of see what the gameplay is like, but it's available now. So this is a early demo, which isn't going to have everything in it necessarily. I would have posted this earlier, so just as a little context. I tried to record this not once, not twice, but 3 times, and due to many of my own technical faults, I managed to mess it up. So here we are. I just hope this is in 60 FPS because I'm not doing this again. Yeah, I forgot to record audio the first time and then forgot to record video, or the video just didn't record not once but twice. So hopefully this is good. I'm trying a different way to record this, which hopefully this ends up looking good. I'm also using an Xbox One controller, so hopefully it ends up working well for me. Yeah, but so you'll kind of see how it works in a rhythm-based sense. I can't even feign the fact that I have done this multiple times now. I'll try and kind of quiet up a bit during the rhythm-based segment, so not only can I do them, but you can also kind of get a sense of how rhythmic this actually ends up being. I found that it is a little bit weird with the rhythm-based stuff. Not only do I not feel like I'm necessarily hitting on rhythm all the time, although this is only the demo, so I don't really have a lot of experience with it. It doesn't really feel like I'm hitting on rhythm all the time, and even then it's weird. I'm trying to address a lot of the things visually instead of with the music, which is probably not good. So there's a little, if you look at the cone where it's anticipating me coming up to hit it, there's a little darker bit at the end, which is effectively where I'm hitting. And I'm using that more as a register of when I should be hitting the button instead of necessarily the rhythm of the beat. So yeah, it's an action platform. You can kind of see how it's action-y and platformy. We'll do this again. It's hard to kind of feign surprise in some of these things because this is not the first time I've done this. Let's say. Let's see if I can do well on this. Yeah, I have played a lot of rhythm games, especially on a controller. I played DDR on a controller primarily. Trying to, I wish it would just zoom out for this so I could see where all the dots spawn. I think I fucked up the order. I definitely fucked up that order, it's fine. This guy creeps me out, man. You're creeping me out, bro. I think I got it for the most part. That was like the 3rd time that I'd done that, so those are kind of hard. I wish it did zoom out a little bit. I wonder how many of those there are and if they're all like that. So I'm not really doing anything like it. You know, I've got these 2 sword-looking things. I'm not really slashing with them per se. It's really just everything is tied to the rhythm of the beat, or the rhythm gaming aspect of the game. So, oops. I'm not sure if the music is actually in sync for this for you, but this doesn't appear to be in sync with anything, or the little lines. So you would think that something like this would all be in sync with the beat, but it doesn't feel like it is necessarily. It does have a really cool soundtrack, I would say, but I'm not necessarily convinced that everything is really lined up with the beat. It's hard to get a sense of that. So one of the things that I ended up mentioning here many a time is that while you're doing this, because of the effects on the screen, it becomes kind of difficult to really get a sense of the combination of moves. You know, like in DDR, like you can see the entire row of arrows, but with this, if you do it down, it hits all 3 enemies and then also shakes the screen, so it becomes a little bit harder to see. Which I found to be relatively difficult. Also, there's a bunch of other effects that are happening on the stage, as you can kind of see with these little light things. And it's a lot, as someone that's not really used to it, it's a lot to take in visually. And I'm not really sure. Again, this is just the demo, so I don't really have a great... You'd think that several tries in I would have a better perception of it, but no, there's as you'll see, we're gonna kind of get to the end of the demo, and there won't be as much as you might think. Ow, geez. But this is a demo, so this is available now though, if the basic premise kind of appeals to you. You can kind of check it out on Steam. I'll link the Steam page in the description. Okay, I think this is where they introduce the fact that you can use the analog stick as well as the face buttons. So there is that. Yeah, so as someone that grew up playing DDR on the controller, this is pretty appealing in general. Part of me I'm not really sure if I'm convinced that I necessarily like a fully action platforming based system. Although I think it's just that I would need much more in there. So on one level, I really would just want a much harder thing here. He says as he gets hit. I would want more notes. Like I played it on like a much harder difficulty because I just press a lot of buttons. So I'm not sure if I am necessarily not convinced because of this. Also, hitting diagonal on the stick is sometimes weird. I would have probably preferred if it was just like up, down, left, right, and then up, down, left, right with more frequency. Because I am playing on like extreme or whatever the harder difficulty is. I think this is one of the times where I thought this was like pretty close to the music. Because I think one of the things that I was thinking was like it might be more fun if, especially in this case, since there are like 3 little platforms or whatever, if it was lanes that you move down or something like that, so you could just use both arrow buttons and face buttons instead of the analog stick, which I find to be really unreliable. You can just press like X and Y at the same time to get like a up left or something, or A and X to get a down left, but even that I find relatively unreliable. And so like I'm not really sure if there's more situations where you're going to be moving a lot and it really requires you to do that. But as it stands, I can't really tell. Yeah, but I would like to do something that has a little bit more involved button presses, especially for the harder difficulty. You know, if they had a okay, I'm gonna just mention that looks like the Majora's Mask. I said that like 4 times now, so it kind of looks fucked up. The door in the face looks like Smooth McGroove. Also, I said that a bunch of the first times. Also, yeah, I would prefer to have tried something a little bit harder, because this was the hardest. I mean, maybe it's not the hardest difficulty, but it's the harder one you present in this demo. And for me, I played some pretty technical games. You know what I'm saying? You know, if there's like a top-down shooter or something and there's a demo, what I would want to see is like the hardest difficulty, maybe. What happens if I mess that up? Times one. Times one. I hit that. That's messed up. Mastered? Question mark? You can see my frame rate that whole time. Did my frame rate dip below 60? Let me know. Yeah, I don't think in all of the attempts, I don't think I tried the easier mode, but that was the harder. I would probably describe that as easy, normally. I kind of wonder, maybe it changes like the leniency that you have, or the amount of time you have to hit the notes sometimes. Yeah, but that's Klang. That's available on Steam right now. So, whoops. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what more challenging encounters are like. Because I am a fan of rhythm games and I am a fan of action platformers. So on paper, something like this is like right up my alley. But some of the demo things I found a little bit too easy. What I'm saying is I want to eat my words and find out that the game is like a shit ton harder. But yeah, check it out on Steam. I should link the thing in the description if I don't yell at me. Hopefully I do though. I don't want to look dumb.